Hey guys, Colin here, and I'm back for this Wednesday's more records and comic books, a book, and some other old antique items to share with you guys this week. And I'll just get started real quick here because my videos usually end up being 15-minute marathon videos or even longer. First off, I have Zapp. This is an old 80s like funk group. I'm just going to go through these fairly quickly. I have some Buck Owens records. I actually been finding quite a few of his records lately, and I really enjoy Buck Owens and the Buckaroos, the Kansas City song. Buck Owens and Susan Rae, the Great White Horse. I used to enjoy watching him on Hee Haw. If any of you remember that old show from the 70s, Hee Haw was a fantastic, I think, country western comedy type show. Your tender loving care. And you're really not going to find any variety shows like that anymore, like they used to have, like the Hee Haw, Carol Burnett show. The Sonny and Cher show. Johnny Cash even had his own variety show for a while. The Osmonds, those type of really fun shows. I think the only one I would consider sort of still along the same lines is Saturday Night Live, and that's still going. Buck Owens and his Buckaroos. It ain't lovin'. And next we have, I just kind of picked a couple of these up because they looked interesting again. And these are some old, the Moonglows, their greatest sides. To me it looks like a 50s doo-wop group. And obviously this ain't a 50s record. It's like a reissue sometime down the road from Chess Records. And here we have Little Anthony and the Imperials, Going Out of My Head. And here's one. I see this around. I used to see this around on cassette all the time, but this, for some strange reason, this is the first time I've ever seen this on an album, the Steve Miller Band Greatest Hits. And I had to get it. It's got all their good songs on it, and I have a cassette of this somewhere, but I'm not sure where it's at the moment. It might be in storage somewhere. But like I said, for some weird reason, I've never seen this album anywhere until now. Over all these years of collecting. And here's a scary movie soundtrack, The Exorcist. William Peter Blatty, music excerpts from the movie. Very scary show there, boy. I think, would you believe my mom took me to see this? Well, actually, you know, I was always buying these types of books when we would go to the bookstore together. I don't think I actually read this one. I can't recall, but I know I read The Shining, the Amityville Horror, and those types of books when I was in grade school. I attempted to read Moby Dick, but I couldn't. I was too young to even get what that was really about at the time. It was too hard to read, and probably even now I'd have trouble reading it. But The Exorcist, it took me to see this, and there's never been a movie scarier since seeing this. Nothing compares to what all went on in this movie, to me anyway. And here's another one, another soundtrack to Easy Rider. Now, I think this is my third copy of this. I just can't help keep grabbing this every time I see it. I think it's mostly because of the memories I had of watching it with my uncle. The first copy I have of this is his copy of Easy Rider, and he's got his Native American name like sign somewhere on the top or somewhere. And it still plays. It crackles here and there, though it's, you know, been played so much. But I got a couple more copies to play that are a little clearer, and I can kind of save that one for, you know, just for the memories, I guess. It's not worth a lot of money or anything, but it's worth the memories. And here's another one, another Love record revisited. And I just grabbed this. I don't know why it says revisited. Is it kind of maybe their greatest hits? I'm not sure. Tony Electra Records. Gatefold. I don't have this one yet. T-Rex. Tanks. And lastly, as far as the records go, the Hollies Evolution featuring Carrie Ann. It's a very psychedelic looking cover right there. And that's all the records. Next, some of you may know, I like collecting things that wind up. I have a real fascination for wind up things like record players, watches, toys, that sort of thing. And I have quite I'm getting a pretty good collection of pocket watches. And I was even trying to learn some of the basics on how to repair them, but I have yet to come across one that doesn't work. So I haven't had a chance to open one. Well, I've been opening them up just to examine the insides of them and that sort of thing. I even got a couple of sets of repair DVD sets and some old watch repair tools that I have yet to really try and use. But I just have a fascination for them. And here's one of them that I just recently added to my collection. This is an 1868 Verge Fusi. I think I'm saying that right. Verge Fusi. It is a silver watch. And if I can get it open here without any trouble. It is a key wind. I don't know if you can see that little hole there. It comes with a little key, and that's how you wind these kind of watches. They're mostly European made. This one in particular is from England, London, England. And how I know that is because on the back of the cover there are some hallmarks. You probably can't see them too well in this video, but there's a hallmark there for London, even a hallmark for the watchmaker, and a hallmark for the year it was made. I don't know if you can hear it. I got it right next to the microphone. But that's one of the things I enjoy collecting. Obviously, I don't carry something like this around in my pocket now. It's just too old and delicate, sort of. But it's called a Verge, a Fusi. You probably can't see inside of there too well, but inside of there, right here, I believe, is a little cone, and it has a chain wrapped around it. And that's how one of the ways that it operates from the spring. It's almost like if you know anything about typewriters, there's a string on a typewriter that keeps a little wheel wound with the spring inside of it. And this is like a little tiny bike chain inside of there. And usually they had to have little kids put those together because they are so small. And that also has a lot of info you can get. See if you can see the writing inside of there. But that's the 1868 Verge Fusi pocket watch. And I do have one I carry around all the time in my pocket. I don't know if I can get it in the video. It's got a string. Can you see it? This one's a 1913 Waltham watch, and it also works, but it's kind of beat up and stuff, so I don't mind carrying that one in my pocket. It's a 1913 though, it's still old, and that's the one I carry around with me all the time. And it still runs, still keeps time, and it has yet to break down on me still, so I still can't try to work on it. So I'm still waiting on that. Next, I got a couple more comic books. As you know, I'm into horror, classic horror, things like that. And here we have an old comic book, The Mask of the Red Death, with Vincent Price. And here's a combo. Vincent Price, The Raven, a strange and exciting story of unbelievable magic. And for the little reading portion of this, I don't know if I'm saying the last part of this right, but another a novel by Jack Kerouac, Vanity of Deleuze. I'm not sure if that's Deleuze or if it's Deleu. I don't know if that Z is silent. Maybe somebody out there who speaks French knows, because Jack Kerouac was French Canadian. Somebody might know, one of you Canadian folks. And I'm just gonna read some of it. All right, wifey. Maybe I'm a big pain in the you-know-what, but after I've given you a recitation of the troubles I had to go through to make good in America between 1935 and more or less now, 1967, and although I also know everybody in the world had his own troubles, you'll understand that my particular form of anguish came from being too sensitive to all the lunkheads I had to deal with, just so I could get to be a high school football star. A college student pouring coffee and washing dishes, and scrimmaging till dark and reading Homer's Iliad in 3 days, all at the same time. And God help me, a writer, but he spells it out in big letters, W-R-I-T-E-R, whose very success, far from being a happy triumph as of old, was the sign of doom himself. Insofar as nobody loves my dashes anyway, I'll use regular punctuation for the new illiterate generation. Look, furthermore, my anguish, as I call it, arises from the fact that people have changed so much, not only in the past 5 years, for God's sake, or even past 10 years, as McLuhan says, but in the past 30 years, so such an extent that I don't recognize them as people anymore, or recognize myself as a real member of something called the human race. I can remember in 1935, when full-grown men, hands deep in jacket pockets, used to go whistling down the street unnoticed by anybody, and noticing no one themselves, and walking fast, too, to work or store or girlfriend. Nowadays, tell me, what is this slouching stroll people have? Is it because they're used to walking across parking lots only? Has the automobile filled them with such vanity that they walk like a bunch of lounging hoodlums to no destination in particular? And that's just the first few paragraphs of Jack Kerouac, The Vanity of Deleuze, or Deleu, however you say that. Oh, and one more thing. I don't know why I felt like I wanted to grab this old bottle I seen at our antique mall. It just reminded me of the outlaw Josie Wales and other movies where you see this, there's always somebody coming to town in a and a wagon that looks like a circus type thing, and they're trying to sell various snake oils to the to the public out there who didn't know any better at the time. This one is Cumboldt's Caustic Balsam. And on the top it says, I don't know if this cap's original to the bottle. It says Schnabel Medicine Company, New Jersey, New Jersey. But I just grabbed that. It was $4. I'm like, that just reminds me of something you'd see in one of those old Western movies. They're trying to cure you're going bald. You're trying to grow your hair back or something, or you can use it as face balm, or brush your teeth with it, or drink it to cure whatever ails you, even though it'd probably kill you in the first place, or whatever is going on. But that's the old bottle, and that's it. And I'm again over 15 minutes, and I hope leave some comments below. Subscribe to my channel, please. I haven't had one new subscriber in like 3-4 years. I'm like stuck at this number, but that's okay anyway. I enjoy all your comments and everything everybody leaves, and thanks for sticking around with me over all these crazy years. And Colin, over and out, and Weirdos Unite.